What up, you guys? It's your friendly neighborhood Smurfing Amy, and I'm super excited for the new Sony exclusive Spider-Man game coming out for the PS4 on September 7th. That's just like in a couple weeks. So naturally, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to tell yet another origin story, this time about my favorite superhero of all time, the web-slinging, wall-crawling Spider-Man. Thwip! 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 Here is my Spider-Man story that none of y'all asked for. Thwip! So if I had to blame anybody for my introduction to Spider-Man, it would be my dad, who's an avid comic book collector. So when I was a kid, I had Spider-Man comics, action figures, video games, trading cards, posters, pajamas, piggy bank, telephone. Oh! For Halloween last year, Linus dressed up as Spider-Man. So I have a lot of Spider-Man shit. I did when I was a kid. I'm an adult. Now, in the 90s, there was this channel called Fox Kids. You probably haven't heard of it. Only the cool kids watched it. And that's where I would watch Spider-Man, the animated series. The show was badass. It had tons of action, a huge rogue gallery of villains for Spidey to fight, and of course, Spider-Man had his one-liners and his infamous sarcastic personality.
Did you expect your crummy webs to stop me? The thought had crossed my mind.
So one thing that always bothered me, even back then, was that Peter Parker was drawn a little bit too beefy. Like, he looked bigger than Spider-Man. It was very distracting.
Hey, pretty lady, why the frown?
Nothing, Peter, nothing at all. I just can't decide what to make for dinner, that's all.
Why does she always keep things from me?
Oh, hey guys, just your average wimpy high school student here. You know, gonna hit the books, maybe do some homework. So let's talk about some games. Thinking back, I realized how many Spider-Man games there actually were. I've played quite a few, but I haven't played all of them. Here's just a couple Genesis games that I still have. Separation Anxiety, Spider-Man and X-Men. And then this one here, Spider-Man the Animated Series game. This is my favorite game for the Sega Genesis. I played the hell out of this game. Then there were the PlayStation games, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 Enter Electro.
Got hostages. Use your Spidey compass to get to the bank quickly.
Thanks, Cat.
I adored these games. These games were drastically different from the side-scrolling, beat-em-up styles of the Genesis ones. Finally, I could play as Spider-Man open world in 3D. And Stan Lee himself narrated the game. How cool is that?
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. Once again, we find our hero Peter Parker, better known around the world as the Amazing Spider-Man, in a heap of trouble.
That web-slinging makes no sense, though.
Spider sense tingling. Things going on here.
There were other games too, like Spider-Man the movie game for GameCube, where you would actually play as Tobey Maguire.
Don't you read the Bugles? I beat up bad guys. That's like my job.
And there was a game for the Xbox I had called Ultimate Spider-Man, which was awesome. It was cel-shaded, it looked like the comic book, and you could switch between Spider-Man and Venom.
Pick up the pace.
So I pulled up a list here, and there's actually a ton of Spider-Man games that I've never played. A lot of them are more recent. Spider-Man 3 the game, Spider-Man Friend or Foe, Web of Shadows, Edge of Time, Shattered Dimensions, the Amazing Spider-Man game. So yeah, I haven't played any of these. So let's move on to movies. Are you ready? I loved the first two Raimi films. The third one, not so much. They were goofy, campy epics that felt larger than life. William Dafoe was a brilliant Green Goblin, even though that costume was complete garbage.
Right.
Here's the real truth.
And Doc Ock leapt right out of the comic book panels themselves.
I don't believe you.
Believe it.
Being the Evil Dead fan that I am, I loved the Bruce Campbell cameos.
Hail to the king, baby.
The Mark Webb films seemed to have the audience split. I, for one, really hated these movies. I thought Andrew Garfield played Parker too hip and cool. Look at this garbage CGI lizard. Looks terrible. And look what they did to Electro. Well, Spider-Man is with the MCU now, so all is good. Well, thanks for listening to my Spider-Man spiel. That was very kind of you guys for sticking around. Alright guys, well, until next time, and... Oh my god. Wait, no!